Hello, welcome back to Hunter Tuned. Today we are taking delivery of my new Integra. I'm super excited. Yeah, I bought an Integra. I haven't even seen it yet, other than pictures and videos, but I bought a car kind of sight unseen, and I had it sent to my shop. So I'm just getting to the shop now, and the car should be here momentarily, and I'm gonna show you guys what I bought, and I'm gonna show myself what I bought, because like I said, I haven't even seen it yet. I can't say that I've ever bought in a car without seeing it. Yeah, unless it was like 50 bucks, but this thing was a little bit more than 50 bucks. Alrighty guys, so the car just got here, and we're gonna check it out. Oh yeah, there's the key for it. I guess I'm an old fart now. So I seen you on the John Doc YouTube channel.
Yeah, we.
What's your name again?
Brad.
Brad.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Yeah.
Yeah, man. We go out. We do a lot of racing, mainly LS, based stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we got Phil in the shop. He kind of takes up, a quarter of the space. But
Yeah.
A bunch of stuff laying around. We're trying to get him to get all the stuff out. So this is perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. So if you guys, you may notice this car, probably not, but this is actually Phil's car. He actually shares the shop with John Doc and a couple of those other guys down in North Carolina, and Brad was kind enough to drive this thing up here and deliver it. So I bought this car from Phil, like I said, kind of sight unseen, but up here in Wisconsin it's definitely a little bit tough to find a rust-free Honda. And I mean, just looking at this thing, like looking in the rear wheel wells, it's like super solid. There's no rust anywhere that I can see. So yeah, and there's definitely a little bit more to go with this car other than it being cleanish. All right guys, so here's my car. It's a Integra DC2, and yeah, thanks to Brad for hauling it up here. Although on the way up it did lose one of the trim pieces here on the rear fender. So I'm gonna have to get a new one of those, and yeah, so it made it all the way from North Carolina, and I can't wait to show you guys what's under the hood. So this is a TSX engine. It's a K24. I'm gonna show you guys some of the goodies that this thing has, kind of get a list and tell you guys what it all has on it already, and then we'll talk about some of the issues that the car has and what stuff that I'm going to want to address. I can already tell just pulling it off of the trailer that I gotta fix this freaking throttle, because it's so stiff. Like you literally have to have a 10,000 pound foot to push the gas pedal down. So I'm probably gonna have to address that right away. And yeah, so I'm going to get the thing in the shop here once I get done tuning this car, and just get in the shop ready for that thing. I got to do some customer stuff first, and then we can move on to more of the Integra. So I'm gonna film another video with this car that I just fixed, and then after it'll be like 2 seconds for you guys, but right after that we'll check that Integra out some more. I thought it was kind of funny. Brad shows up to haul that Integra to my shop, walks out of the truck in shorts and flip-flops. A little bit of a weather change for him. That was kind of funny, because Wisconsin's a little bipolar. Last week it was like 80 degrees, and this week it's like 35. So all right guys, so let's check out my new Integra here. I got it up on the hoist, and just kind of wanted to go through some things on it. I did mention that it has a K24A2 engine, and it also has a K20A2 transmission. So it has the RSX Type S tranny and the TSX engine. So it's kind of a good combo, especially for like an all-motor car, but we may, obviously the possibilities are going to be kind of endless with this thing. I want to do, I wanted to own a K-swapped car, and I didn't want to build my own because I've been so busy doing tuning and stuff like that. I'd rather focus on getting other people's stuff running and have a good project to start with, and that's kind of what I did with this thing. And by the time I bought all the stuff, bought a clean shell like this, bought the swap harness, the K-Pro, all the stuff that this car already has, I would have probably paid almost more money than what I have into this car. So I paid $6 grand for this thing. It runs and drives. It's got, you know, like I said, the K24 A2. It's got an aluminum radiator in it. It's got big exhaust. It's got the Skunk 2 3-inch Mega Power exhaust all the way back. So it's got Skunk 2 Mega Power 3-inch. It's got a big header. I don't know exactly what header this is. I think Phil actually did tell me what header it is, but it actually is pretty good, pretty beefy. It looks pretty decent. It's got a wideband hole, which is why it's on the lift right now, as I'm actually gonna be putting my wideband in it so I can put it on the dyno. And I wanted to fix this exhaust leak that the car had because I hate exhaust leaks. They drive me nuts. So this thing has an exhaust leak that I'm trying to fix here quick. And it looks like he welded a V-band or tacked a V-band on and then just kind of clamped it down. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this V-band off and I'm gonna lower this down and possibly be able to fix the leak that it's got going on in here. So like I said, it's just kind of, the clamp is just kind of tacked. I don't know if you can see it, but you can see the soot around the V-band clamp there. So then there's also some soot coming out of this weld connection here that I'm gonna try to fix. And then I did notice when I was pulling it off the trailer that the belt was squealing pretty bad. So this is a power steering deleted accessory drive that's on this car. So, and you can tell that this belt is, I don't know if you can tell, but it's freaking loose. So we have to tighten that up. Like I said, I fixed that stick and throttle body, and I removed this floor mat. So this car's got floor mats in it, and they're like the big, they're like the giant frickin', really, they just get in my way. I don't like them. I'd rather just rock carpet and just try to keep it clean, or like a thinner floor mat is kind of what I like, just because those big bulky ones, they get in the way, you know, of hitting the gas pedal or the clutch pedal. I don't like them. Another thing too is this car, like I said, it's just super clean. Like there's no rust anywhere on it, because I'm so used to putting a car on the lift up here in Wisconsin and seeing like control arm bolts snapped off because they're all rotted out, you know, and just surface rust anywhere. But there's nothing on this car. All the, I mean, I wouldn't even be scared to take out these toe arm bolts because they look freaking new. So it does need trailing arm bushings too. These are torn back here. It's got Skunk 2 struts with like a coilover sleeve on it back here. The tires are kind of shot because they're all camber worn, especially this front one. It's got like a chunk out of it. So this one's got like chunks missing out of the tire. So I got to get tires for it. All right, so I got the exhaust leak fixed. I got it all welded back up. It wasn't even that big of an exhaust leak, but the hole for the shifter box is right here, and the exhaust leak was right there. So like it just, the noise came right through the shifter, and it was just like right through the shifter hole, and I'm like, I gotta fix this. So yeah, and now it doesn't leak. I just found like one little pinhole that I just had to tack back up now. So I'm gonna get this exhaust back up, got my wideband installed into the header, and we'll get back down on the ground and check some more stuff out. And I got it back off of the lift, and I wanted to kind of talk about some stuff under the hood. I have it strapped down on the dyno right now because we wanted to get a baseline on this thing and see where it's at. I got the wideband plugged in, so I'm gonna be able to monitor the air fuel coming out of this thing. Like I said, I already fixed that throttle. I don't know what harness this is.
Right wire.
It looks like rye wire. I don't know. It's a tuck harness. Fits pretty good. It's missing a ton of sensors because it doesn't have idle air control, and it doesn't have like the intake temp is just sitting here, which is fine. The knock sensor wire down there I think wasn't plugged in, which is fine. We don't use that shit anyway. It's got an auxiliary right here, so we can add some stuff to the harness. That's kind of neat. The struts are kind of shot. As you can see, they're like poking out of there. We'll have to add some strut nuts too, because there's only one on each side.
YOLO.
What?
YOLO.
YOLO, Trevor
This thing's
says.
cancer, honestly.
What? The cable?
Yeah, like it needs chemo yesterday.
Okay. This car has a set of the eBay mounts.
What is this?
Auxiliary.
For what?
They just sit over here.
Put it somewhere else.
I know. We kind of got to tie up this harness a little bit better because it's not tied up that great right now. What else? Phil said that there wasn't a thermostat in it because the thermostat wasn't opening or something. So it doesn't have a thermostat right now, and it has just like the flexi bendy radiator hoses in it, which, you know, they work. The top one is probably fine, but this bottom lower we'll probably have to address because it's got a pretty harsh bend in it. So I don't know if I can get a different thermostat housing where that flips it down or at a different angle, so that would fit better. I also tightened the belt up so it's not squealing anymore. And we got cardboard in front of the radiator because there's no thermostat in it. So when I did run it the other day, it was getting up to like 180 degrees. So I think it'll be all right. But yeah,
What's K and K?
What?
What's K and K?
Knock sensor, I think.
Gotcha.
KNK is knock. Yep. And I want to adjust the steering wheel because currently straight is like.
Alignment.
Yeah, it probably needs an alignment. I think he also said it needed a tie rod edge or something. But like that's straight. So if I just like take the bolts out and I rotate the wheel a little, it might be might go straight.
Maybe.
Another thing that I did notice with the car is the shifter box, like, is a stock one, and I don't know if I have to trim out some of this back here to be able to hit 2nd and 4th gear and 6th gear, because it hits the box. I don't know if that's an adjustment on the cables or what it is, but this is my first K-Series car, guys. You gotta give me a little slack. I just want to maybe get some of these little issues just sorted out. I also want to put a radio in it. It doesn't have a radio.
Ooh, double din.
Yeah, we could put a double din in it. And at least I can bang gears without my fist hitting the dash. Bam, 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 bam.
I mean, you wouldn't have that problem if you didn't have a 10-foot pole to shift on.
I know, I'd like the shifter like down here farther instead of fucking way up here. But I was going to work with max peating rods because they actually make a shifter box for this thing. So might end up getting
Just get the
one of those.
eBay hybrid one, hybrid racing knockoff. Good reviews on that bad boy.
I think it's got the race cables in it, but it still has the stock box. Alrighty, so we got the car up and running with the wideband installed. So now we're pulling up the file on K-Pro here, and Phil said he just threw a quick street tune on this thing before he put on the trailer to bring it up here. And I think we might have messed up a little bit on the tune here because the cam angles look like they're tuned over here, but not over here. There's no cam angle in it at all over here. And the areas that are adjusted are boost regions. So although I'd love to be boosted, I am not right now. So we have to probably shuffle these over to here, but I want to do a baseline on this thing just as is and kind of see how it is. So, and same thing on the VTEC side. The cam angles are tuned in boost, but not over here. So we'll have to transfer these over here. So yeah. Ignition table looks okay. It looks like all that stuff looks okay. So all right, guys, so I was on the dyno with the car here, and the clutch pin for the pedal actually fell out. So I lost my clutch pedal completely. It's stuck on the floor, and I'm like, what? I ain't got no clutch. But this pin fell out because I don't think there's anything securing it. It just has this like little piece of plastic for the clutch pin. So we're gonna try to find a wire or something to feed through here so it can't fall out. Yeah, that was weird. I put these Steelies on because they have good tires, so I can at least drive the car around. I've had to fix quite a bit of stuff on this car, and I'm definitely not done, you know, fixing stuff on it and just kind of making it my own and making it better. But I've had problems with all 3 pedals on the car, and I thought that was kind of funny. So when I initially got the car, it had a gas pedal issue where the gas pedal was just super hard to push, and like I couldn't even really drive it because you needed a 10,000 pound foot to get the thing to move. So I fixed the throttle. I did have some clips of me fixing it that I may include in another video possibly, but I wanted to give you guys an overview of this car. So gas pedal, fixed that. Next was the brake pedal. So I fixed the gas pedal and I'm like, oh, I'll go take it for a little drive. So I drove it and the brake pedal actually stuck to the floor. And I'm like, what the heck is going on here? But it had like a brake switch issue where the there's like a bolt up here jammed in, so like when you push this, the bolt pushes on the brake switch, and that bolt actually came dislodged because there was no nut on the back side of it. So I had to fix the so I was like, man, the brakes are dragging because the pedal was wedged with that bolt. So I fixed that, put a nut behind it, and then I dynoed the car. I didn't really film a whole lot of it, but I did dyno it, and it made some good power, but it was out of fuel. So I put a set of decapped injectors in here and a Walbro 525 fuel pump, changed it to E85. Done a ton of stuff with it. Like I said, I just kind of, you know, and I might do separate videos of dyno tuning the car and whatever. This is just kind of an overview, show you what I got. So like I said, I swapped the injectors out because it was out of fuel for some reason. I don't know if this engine's stock or not, because man, it makes some good horsepower, let me tell you what. And the time to put it together, this was way smarter of an idea to do this instead. It just made way more sense to just buy something that was kind of already put together and then just kind of do little things to make it my own, as I'm doing now. So back to the whole 3 pedal thing, problems with every pedal. Brake pedal, and then when I was dynoing the car, the clutch pedal pin fell out because there was no like cotter key holding in the clutch pin. If you guys ever crawl under the dash of a Civic or an Integra or whatever, how the clutch pedal is attached to the master cylinder, it has a little rod that goes through that kind of holds it all together with a pin, and it just wasn't right. So that I lost clutch pedal, and I'm like, what the heck? And this was all within like a 2-day period, and I'm like, oh my, what's next? So I fixed the clutch pedal, we dynoed the car, and then I took it out and I was like, oh, I'm gonna drive it home, you know. I finally got everything figured out, made it like a mile down the road, and the shifter cables broke. And I'm like, what the heck is going on? This thing just hates me. But it had like some cheaper Chinese, like just really cheap shifter cables in it. And I went to the junkyard the next day. My buddy Carlos hooked me up, and I got some factory RSX OEM cables, and it's been fine since. And honestly, ever since all those issues, the car's been pretty good since then. It's had some weird suspension quirks and stuff like that I got to figure out and fix. Like this, it's missing some strut nuts, and like the struts they're like coming out of the bushings here because there's not a washer somewhere in here to stop it. So probably get a set of coilovers or something for it maybe. And obviously fix some of the suspension hardware. It had an exhaust leak I had fixed, which I also had footage of that I kind of fixed up and whatever in it. And it has this knockoff, our Skunk 2 manifold knockoff. Works good though. Braided fuel lines coming up. I changed the regulator to this side after the rail to kind of help with fuel delivery issues that I was having, because it was a dead-headed system where the regulator was on this side and the return was before the fuel rail. So I wanted to make sure that the return was after the rail, just because they tend to work better that way, in my opinion. It's got an aftermarket harness. I don't know if it's rye wire or what exact harness is in the thing, But I did drive it home last night, or not last night, I drove it home like a couple weeks ago. And I've been kind of just driving it around here and there and having a lot of fun with my friends, honestly. Like, I'm always super like busy with trying to film stuff, and you know, I'm working all the time with dynoing cars and blah, 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 blah. And it's really nice to just enjoy cars for what got me into them in the first place. You know what I mean? And that's just like getting out there, going wailing on it, on the streets, and you know, having fun with your buddies, making people smile. And that's kind of what got me into cars, and I've been really kind of lacking that lately, because I turned my passion or my hobby into a job. And I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, because I've been, you know, obviously busy and stuff like that, but man, I really miss my hobby and my passion. I really I want to enjoy cars again. And it's been really hard for me to do that lately because I've been so busy with working on them for other people. So, anywho, with that being said, we'll probably take this thing out for a rip. I gotta put a radio in it too. I don't know what else I gotta fix on the car, but other than that, I mean, it's got like eBay mounts. I don't know what axles or anything is in it. I've never even swapped a K into anything, so I just, you know, make them rip. And this one definitely rips. Another thing that's been going on at my house, obviously, is I got a concrete driveway. You guys probably maybe notice, maybe don't notice, but just been busy lately and haven't even really gotten to show you a lot of this stuff. But yeah, we got an awesome concrete driveway now at the house. I'm super fortunate for that. Cavalier is here actually, because I brought it home to just wire it in my spare time when I'm not at the shop, because the shop's just got other stuff going on. And like I said, I want to try to just like enjoy this as a hobby again and like a passion. And I want to make videos like I used to, but it's hard to do that when I have the shop and I have the dyno and all that stuff now, which was like my dream. But now my dream is like, man, I just want to like enjoy cars again. You know, it's hard to, I don't know, hopefully you guys understand that, but when you know, just like if you enjoy like woodworking or construction or anything like that, and then you make it your full-time job and you do it 7 days a week, 24/7, you get burnt out, you know? So I just don't want to get burnt out, and I want to keep making videos and having fun with cars. That's my goal. Maybe one day YouTube will just pay for everything and don't have to worry about working on other people's stuff all the time. But I gotta pay the bills, you know? This car doesn't have an idle air control valve, so when it's cold I gotta kind of keep my foot on the gas. And I adjusted some stuff on K-Pro that kind of lets it idle a little bit better when it's cold. But once it's warmed up, she runs great idle-wise. So I think the car either needs an alignment or something, because the steering wheel is offset, but it doesn't pull one way or another. So I may just reposition the steering wheel so it's straight. I think Phil had mentioned to me that it needed a tie rod or something. I didn't really look too closely at that stuff, which I probably should, but and it still has a very small exhaust leak. There's a pinhole on the top of the where the header connects to the rest of the exhaust. And then another thing that I got to try to figure out is the gas gauge doesn't work, which I think may be in the gauge cluster, because I don't think it's the sending unit. I already had tested that, so the only other thing that it probably could be is the gauge cluster itself. Phil said the gas gauge never worked for him, so I'm assuming that the cluster is just bad. I'm hoping at least it's just the cluster, because that'd be an easy fix. And the temp gauge on the cluster does not work either, which is just because there's no sensor on the engine. Phil actually sent me a link for the right sensor that I would need in order to get that to function. But I did drive the car quite a bit with the K-Pro and my laptop in here to verify that cooling and everything is okay. There's no thermostat in the car right now because I guess there was an issue with bleeding the system. The way the radiator hoses are on this setup, they're kind of, you know, real sharp bends and stuff like that, so that might be part of the reason of why it was kind of a pain in the ass to bleed. But like I said, car's on E85 now, and I did tune it. It makes north of 250 wheel horsepower. I won't exactly say how much, but it makes good horsepower. And we'll probably make a dyno video of this car soon, but I figured let's get back to the old days and let's go for a cruise. Let's go enjoy the car, you know. Car has an Action Stage 4 clutch, I think. I'm not really a big fan of Action clutches, but this one seems to work okay. There's a frickin' cop. Don't pull me over, please. I think we're good. Johnny Law didn't frickin' turn behind me. Yeah, and I've never done an out-of-state title. I actually don't even have this thing registered yet, but I got to figure out how to do the out-of-state title thing, because Wisconsin's a little different than North Carolina with titling stuff, so hopefully that'll all go smooth. And I want to put a radio in it too, because it doesn't have a radio. I will tuck all this stuff away once I'm done fully tuning it, which will probably be 5 years from now. But this stuff does look real nice when it's all back together, and the interior in this car is actually fairly clean, so that's a plus. And I'm in 5th gear right now, and this thing's just so torquey. I mean, it doesn't matter what gear you're in. You can even be in 6th gear, and it's just got so much pickup. And obviously when I'm banging on it, it's way faster, because vtec on this setup, I think I tuned it right around 4,000 RPM is where the vtec engages. And the cam angle situation on the car too, when I got it, the cam angle wasn't tuned at all, so it was running like barely any cam angle, and I finally put cam angle in it, and it picked up like 40 wheel horsepower. It's crazy. So I've made this thing quite a bit better, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. And I kind of knew that the car was a little bit of a work in progress when I bought it. I didn't really expect like you know, a perfect show car or anything like that. You know, like I said, I kind of wanted to just make it my own and fix it up. And I kind of enjoy doing that more than building something from scratch, because when you build something from scratch, all these parts and stuff add up. I mean, the K Pro alone is like $1,000. The harness, I'm sure, wasn't cheap. I've never bought a harness, but I'm sure it wasn't cheap. Getting the mounts and the axles and everything to work right. We'll do a little roller in 3rd maybe here. Sure my hood was shut. I always get paranoid. Did I shut the hood? Because I don't want that fucker flying up. $40 roll, 2nd gear. Probably 30 roll. Tires on it right now, so it actually hooks up pretty decent. The tires that came on it was just a shit show. It would blow them off until like 50. This one's still like, when you grab a gear, it does, but man, this transmission shift's really good too. I really appreciate the K-Series tranny, because it just super crisp. I want to get a different shifter box maybe for the car too to tighten it up a little, but maybe that'll come in the future, or just like cut this down so the shifter's a little lower, because I feel like this thing's a fucking semi. But I mean, driving down the road 65 mile an hour, it cruises pretty good. It does kind of drive me nuts that the steering wheel's offset, so I might, you know, reposition the splines so it is straight and say screw in alignment. I don't know. But I would like to put a tire on this car, like a slick and a skinny, and go take it to the track, because I think NA, this thing would be in the 12s. Maybe even better, I don't know. And another thing I want to do with this car possibly is put it on methanol. I've never tuned anything on methanol, and I think this thing would be a good candidate for it, because I got the big injectors in it now from huntertune.com, and I have the Walbro 525 fuel pump. So we would be good fuel supply wise for M5, which would be really cool. And it's got big exhaust, you know, it's a good combo. I just don't know how this engine would respond to M5. I don't know if it would like it, or if it wouldn't. I don't know if it would pick up or not, but I'd like to try it. I just changed the oil on it last night, put some Schaefer's 530 in it. I don't know if these K-series really like thicker oil or thinner. I don't know. I'm learning them. I know how to tune them, but I've never had one of my own. And this is a full interior, like it's not gutted, it's, you know, it's a street car still, so I like that. Definitely needs suspension. I mean, I took that corner at like not that fast, and it was already like pushing, the tires were screeching, and yeah. Probably has a lot to do with those shocks that are in there, and they're not really spaced up properly. Wow, there's burnouts on the road. I wonder where those are from. Man, I miss actually enjoying cars, guys. I really do. All right, let's hit this thing. First gear roll. Probably little more than 1/8 mile. I don't know. I wasn't measuring, but fucker's fun. And one of the windows is tinted and one of them isn't, so I gotta fix that. I want them all tinted. It has an SRS light and an ABS light, because all that shit's deleted. So I probably have to, when I get a new cluster, I'll pull those bulbs out so it doesn't, you know, show up anymore. Oh, I should have brought the fucking draggy. Damn it. I have a draggy at home. Ryan, 821 Bravo, actually got me one, and I could have brought that with. We could see how fast it is. Just letting her eat. Definitely faster going west, or going, it's definitely faster going east. The wind's blowing from the west. I feel like I'm on my ground, because I always try to ride with the wind, because then the bike is way faster. Which I gotta get some more ground footage out for you guys too. There's actually been quite a bit of interest in that stuff, for a good reason. They're really fun, but hit this bitch from a dig. I'll try to launch it with these street tires. I don't know how it's gonna do, but we'll give her a whirl. Oh, we gotta pull her over here. I can let these guys go by. All right, preload it. This thing fucking rips. I don't even know if I want to put a turbo on it because it's going to be useless. I mean, not with slicks, obviously, at the drag strip, but this thing's a really fun street car. And she squawks them all the way through fourth. Hopefully you guys enjoy the Integra. Let me know what else you want to see with the car. What should I do with it? Thanks for watching. Have a great night and a better tomorrow, guys. We'll see you later. I don't know why I did this. I don't know why. Bye.